Pressure is on a now silent Attorney General Merrick Garland to give a solid reason for the raid. The Wall Street Journal editorial board warning the FBI search on Trump suggests that Garland may be committed to pursuing and indicting the former president. And if so, he is taking the country on a perilous road. Meanwhile, we are learning more about exactly
how is she so bad at this when, like, she's having a hard time fucking, like, delivering the news and reading a fucking teleprompter when this was straight up her job for the past 4 years before she even got to Fox News.
What went down during that unprecedented raid. There are reports that agents ransacked Trump's personal office for hours. They broke into his safe, and they even went through Melania Trump's wardrobe. An attorney for the former president says his legal team wasn't even allowed to watch as agents searched his estate. But when it was all over, the feds reportedly seized about a dozen boxes on Monday. And some of the items recovered in the first batch from earlier this year reportedly included letters from Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, and former President Obama as well. A cocktail napkin was included in a birthday dinner menu. And moments ago, reporters pressed President Biden to comment on the raid.
President, what do you say to Americans?
The DOJ will be fair, Mr. President.
The details, Kennedy, get worse and worse. The agents were apparently...
That's insane that I jokingly talked about cocktail menus. And that is actually some of the materials that he had taken from the White House. I'm going to lose my fucking mind, dude. I thought that that was a fucking meme, dude. I literally said it as a joke. I said it as a fucking meme. Why would they classify cocktail menus? Everything is classified. Technically, everything... Dude, technically, the president writing on a fucking napkin, that is privileged information. That's classified. There's a way of archiving all of that. It was a cocktail menu, napkin, not a menu. Oh, yeah. Anything the president writes down is going to be privileged information.
Currently there from 9 a.m. to 6:30. 9 a.m. to 6:30. That is 9.5 hours as they're scouring through Melania's closet, breaking open safes. Apparently, the attorneys were not allowed in. They were told to turn off security cameras, which they did not do. Good move. There was a Ryder truck on the scene. Apparently, the DOJ lawyers, according to Trump representatives, were very rude, and they kept saying over and over again, we have full access to everything. We can go anywhere. It feels like the full power of the federal government raining down on a political enemy.
Yeah, I would like to see, I know Kevin Walling in the previous hour talked about wanting to see the search warrant. I would love to see the search warrant. I would love to see what they got. I want to see who signed off on this. I want to see who knew about this, including the president. And
It's truly fucking wild to watch the very same demons who have, from the loudest rooftops, screamed about how justifiable Breonna Taylor's death was in the aftermath of a no-knock warrant, turn around and cry like the grossest crime has ever been committed because Donald Trump is under investigation, and a part of that investigation required the federal authorities to get certain, like, key pieces of evidence that his team was not willing to give for one reason or the other. There is no better example of the disdain that these people have for the regular old folks at home watching. When they say, oh, well, this can happen to you, the average American. This already does happen to the average American. They don't give a fuck, especially when the average American is a black person, okay? That's it. These are the exact same people And I can't even like sit here and compare the two because it's not even on the same fucking playing field. It's like a playground tickle fight compared to straight up fucking murder. You know what I mean? It's not even in the same universe. The unjustifiable murder of Breonna Taylor in the hands of the police force and the lack of action in that subject, in that situation. Sorry, that's not true. There was one piece of action. The consequence of the Breonna Taylor raid, which was bullshit, by the way, if you don't remember, was that one of the officers actually shot indiscriminately, and some of those bullets entered another apartment in the same complex. So he got punished for that. They didn't get punished for fucking shooting and killing Breonna Taylor. It's just that he got punished for shooting into a neighbor's house. Which is like adding insult to injury. You know what I mean? It's literally the worse than fucking not getting punishments at all, almost. Property damage was more significant for the state in that circumstance than the whole ass life of Breonna Taylor. Okay? The reason why I'm mentioning this is because conservatives keep saying like, "Well, oh, you guys defended Breonna Taylor, but like this is a step too far, huh?" Like it's fucking ridiculous.
I want to know if there were any careful discussions that were had about how horrible this looks, what an incredible overreach this is.
And there is also obviously additional details about Breonna Taylor. Part of the reason why it's important to note is that federal officials have now charged the 4 officers in the Breonna Taylor raid. Remember, the conversation that we had, the conversation that I just had about the ridiculous no-knock raid that occurred was completely written off by the same court system that offered that fucking bullshit warrant. That same court system and the same prosecutorial system that allowed those cops to get that fucking no-knock warrant then found them, not guilty. Put them on paid leave, all that sort of stuff. But now, 2 years after police officers killed Breonna Taylor during a late-night raid in her apartment in Louisville, Kentucky, the Justice Department has announced a series of federal charges on Thursday against 4 of the officers involved in the operation that set off racial justice protests across the country. There it is.
It appears to be a horrific violation. You know, if you're going after things like cocktail napkins and birthday party menus, and you are breaching the home of a former president of the United States, we are in a very, very bad place as a country, and there is way too much power concentrated in the hands of the FBI and the DOJ. And guess what? You have activated voters. You have not necessarily done the work of...
Americans be like, oh, we're better than fucking, we're a real democracy. We're better than like the UK. They have a monarchy. And then they turn around and treat previous presidents like they're fucking royalty. Why should a previous president be above the law? They say it's a banana republic when talking about holding fucking prior presidents accountable for the first time ever. Now, is that accountability coming from mismanaged documents? I hope not. Because in that circumstance, it is a purely political move, and it's a really idiotic move on top of that. Okay? But all of the other events surrounding and other investigations surrounding this raid gives me at least a little bit of hope, just a semblance of hope that there is more to it than just... There's more to it in this circumstance than just fucking, bullshit mismanaged documents.
Tarnishing a president for good who might be a future president, and there will be hell to pay if we don't get answers very, very soon.
Right, and silence isn't working. Biden being asked about this and not answering. They say the White House didn't know. It's hard to believe. They say the president didn't know. Ari Fleischer had an important reminder, Raymond. I want to put this up. I talked about this from the podium during my tenure. According to FBI notes, Biden himself in an Oval Office meeting on January 5th, 2017, so before Trump took office, he was with President Obama. Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates brought up the Logan Act in an apparent suggestion to Yates that Flynn could be prosecuted. Maybe Biden didn't know about this warrant, but Biden has a history of publicly telling DOJ what to prosecute, as he did in 2021 when he said anyone who didn't cooperate with the January 6th committee should be prosecuted. The point is this. He's vice.
You know what's funny about that? It's like pulling up a tweet of Joe Biden saying criminals should go to jail and then being like, wow, look at Joe Biden controlling the DOJ. What the fuck do you mean? That is literally insane, dude. I mean, I can't believe I'm over here defending fucking Joe Biden of all people, but goddamn, that is such a dumb way. What a dumb fucking take. Donald Trump has talked about fucking law and order. There is a level of influence that, of course, the White House has over the DOJ. But beyond that, individual investigations, like claiming that individual investigations are being conducted at the behest of Joe Biden, specifically because Joe Biden actually demanded that this happen. Okay. By pointing to a fucking tweet about Joe Brandon saying, like, all January 6th, like, people need to follow the law. And if you fail to show up to court, you should be tried. That's not fucking, that's less involvement in the DOJ's actions than Donald Trump personally saying, we got to do law and order. We got to kill and execute all the fucking criminals. Look at me. I used the marshals to go murder someone in fucking Washington.
President then. He's in the Oval Office. Out of nowhere, he says, let's use this 1799 statute, which has never been used to prosecute anyone successfully, to go after an incoming Trump personnel. He has a history that should be looked at, that should be scrutinized, and it is fair to ask him questions now, given
Oh, was it Oregon? Sorry.
that.
Well, look, it's a very dangerous game that they're playing here. The FBI was already tarnished after the Russia collusion nightmare that they foisted on the entire country, and the way that happened. So now, from the people who brought you Russia collusion, home invasion, the presidential edition. This is terrible for the Republic, because what you're doing is setting up a pattern of political recriminations. And there is no doubt, when you hear the Republicans now saying, we're going to investigate this one, and we're going to investigate that one, and Garland, maintain your records. I get why they're feeling that way. But the path we're down, politicizing these arms of the federal government meant to enforce the law, it's a very dangerous place. And I worry about the Republic. This is a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Again, remember when Donald Trump used ICE, ORTAG agents, to black bag protesters in Portland? Remember when Donald Trump used the marshals to assassinate a dude without due process? Old ass Pee Wee Herman up in here, straight up fucking talking about how, like, oh man, oh, the horror. What would happen? What would happen? Oh, well, I can't believe it. Oh. To imagine federal agencies and federal authorities being used for political posturing. It's like, motherfucker, Donald Trump literally gassed protesters so he could go take a photo shoot with an upside down Bible outside of a church. The fuck do you mean?
That they have opened. And God help us. I don't know how we're going to close it.
Me neither. And President Biden, he said this 2 hours ago. It really stood out to me. Take a listen.
We're always being told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. When I ran, I said one of the reasons I was running, one of the 3 reasons, was to unite the country, and I was roundly criticized for being naive. That was the old days, Joe. You used to be able to do that. Well, guess what? I don't believe it. We never have failed to.
I gotta say, Cheryl, I've never felt more united than the day after a former president, political opponent, and probable future opponent to President Biden's home is raided. I've never felt.
They're right. They're right. Brandon is ridiculous. Republicans have never even tried to fucking do bipartisan compromise. Like, that's not a thing. Republicans run on their proximity to Democrats. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's out here, and it's not even naivete. I think it's fucking criminal negligence. So do not mistake this and say, oh, it's just Brandon's brain is bad. He doesn't know any better. He's just a small bean. It's like, no, motherfucker. This is criminal negligence. This is deliberate. Republicans campaign on their proximity to Democrats, the Democratic platform, and Democratic attitudes. They run on how obstructionist they are. Meanwhile, Brandon, who has spent multiple lifetimes inside the Senate, still acts like that's a thing you can do. At a certain point, you got to realize, you have to realize, like, maybe these guys are just fucking lying to us about this whole compromise shit.
More united, President Biden.
I'll tell you, and this is all going to backfire, but you mentioned that Wall Street Journal op-ed, the editorial board. You know what else they said? And this is what drove this home for me, and this characterizes how I feel. Mr. Trump is accused of violating political norms, sometimes fairly, sometimes not. The left then violates norms. In response, polarization increases, public faith in institutions, and the peaceful settlement of political difference erodes further. This will backfire on them. In my opinion, what were they looking for? They weren't looking for things for a museum, for the National Archives. They're looking for something to pin him when it comes to January 6th. This is obvious. No, we have not seen the warrant, to your point. I want to see it as well, but give me a break. We know what they were looking for. And
I mean, she's not wrong. I think so, too. But also, like, why is that bad? Like, I'm failing to comprehend why that, like, the FBI is looking for details of Trump's involvement in January 6th. That's called evidence. Like, I don't understand why you would be like, I can't believe. Like, let's say you fucking rob a bank, and then the federal authorities come to your house, and they're like, hey, we suspect you robbed a bank. We have a search warrant. We're going to execute it. And then Fox News is literally like, I can't believe they suspect this man of robbing a bank, and we're able to get a fucking search warrant out and are gathering evidence on whether or not he fucking robbed the bank. That's crazy. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Oh.
I obviously would love to be in Melania's closet, too. and that moment was probably wasted on those FBI agents. But beside that, I'm just as furious as all of you are about this. And I think that what you were going to do, look, if there was some doubt in Donald Trump's mind that he was going to run again, and I've heard that he definitely wants to run again, if there was any doubt, this galvanizes him and many, many others to go in his camp and for him to try and take down Joe Biden. But the legal side of this, and we're missing Emily today, is that if they find something, they could indeed take him out of the running in 2024. I think that is a possible motive here as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's covering her bases, you know what I mean? She's right. Yes, if they do find something that kicks him out of running in 2024, then we have a much worse problem at our hands. Ron fucking DeSantis. The base will be galvanized, and Ron DeSantis will take over. And there's already a lot of momentum behind him. It's just like, at that point, it's a matter of whether or not Trump's petty ass will defend Ron DeSantis and go out to bat for him or not. You know what I mean?
isn't about the National Archives. This is about January 6th and stopping him from 2024.
Well, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that, and Kat, the press secretary, I'm sure, eased all of our worries. Let's watch.
Is this administration weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI against political opponents?
Peter, the president believes in the rule of law. The president believes in the independence of the Department of Justice.
Yes or no? Just
No,
is
that
the
is,
White House-
no, it's a yes or a no for you. I'm answering the question. You may not like it, but I'm answering the question.
So not a no.
Yeah, and I can't really be surprised by that sort of answer, right? If you don't have to answer it, you can get away with an answer like that. Why would you? But I think it's difficult the longer this goes on, knowing so little about it. As narratives start to form on both sides, people on the right get more upset that this happened. People on the left get more excited that this happened without any of us really knowing very much about it at all. And I think regardless, I think all of us should be concerned about the power that our federal law enforcement agencies have. I mean, us libertarians have been concerned about it long before this was even a dream or a whisper of something happening. So I hope that no matter what happens, that's something that everybody's continue to be concerned about and take a look at.
That's such a great point. If they can do this to a sitting president, that's never, sorry, a former president, if they can do this to a former president, what can they do to you? With 87,000 new IRS agents, what can they do
I have
to you?
just a little bit fewer resources than the Trump.
And this may have been a political play to drag Trump into the arena before the midterms. Remember, he wasn't going to announce, and he may not announce yet. But this puts him front and center and makes him an object they can run against. And perhaps that was their silly, I think, political approach.
And remember, they seized Republican Congressman Scott Perry's phone yesterday. Right. So they just don't give a flying flip about how politicized they look, which is terrifying.
Bro, there's an active investigation, dog. Like, what do you mean? I'm sorry, but this is so ridiculous. Like, first and foremost, let me tell you how fucking consistent I am. I've been saying this since day one. I didn't even fucking believe that the federal authorities would actually, like, conduct genuine investigations into the actual politicians that may or may not have played a role in January 6th and the build-up to it. But yeah, I'm on board with what they're doing. Like, this is what they should be doing. This is what you are supposed to do. No one is supposed to be immune to the law. No one is supposed to be above the law. And no, I will not acknowledge that she said flying flip on the fucking murder all immigrant children broadcast. You know what I mean? It's the same energy as Alex Jones being like, these are psychic pedophile vampires that are you know, bringing in immigrants to rape your children. I'm sorry, I said bitch. This is a family show. You know what I mean? It's the same energy. She says flying flip while switching off from talking about how, like, immigrants are bloodthirsty murderers or some shit.
The rule of law.
It's
like a Gestapo.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host Harris.
It's just so fucking funny that they're literally like, I can't believe that they went and took the phone of a sitting congressperson. This is just like the Gestapo. It's like, bro, the sitting congressperson had multiple conversations with the White House in the lead up to the fucking January 6th insurrection. What the fuck do you mean? You can't simultaneously say that January 6th was a bad thing because it was led by Antifa and then also get upset when they prosecute it, right? Was January 6th good or bad? If you think it's bad, then the government should do something about it, right? The agencies and the authorities should be doing something about it. And if they're going to do something about it, you can't fucking complain that they're doing something about it that ends up, you know, impacting the people that played a role in it.
We now CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Ellie Honig. Ellie, nice to see you again. What we know in what we don't know.
Yeah.
Both very important.
So let me start with the easy part of this quiz, what we do know, John. 3 things that we know for sure. Prosecutors, first of all, established probable cause that a specific federal crime was committed. They established that it was likely that they would find evidence at the location at Mar-a-Lago, and we know that that was approved by a federal judge. Okay, we have that in place. The rest of this is unanswered. One of the biggest questions, what evidence did prosecutors use to establish that probable cause? Now, the way you do this as a prosecutor is you have to write out what we call an affidavit in support of a search warrant. These documents can be dozens of pages. This is actually the one from the Michael Cohen case, which was over 200 pages long. This is the Rosetta Stone. This will tell us everything we need to know. Who has it, though? Prosecutors have it. The judge has it, but it's what we call under seal, meaning not available to us in the public. Donald Trump does not have this document in his possession. He won't get it unless there ever comes a day when he is charged. So,
but he does have something.
Exactly. He does have what we call a search warrant. Does he have a copy? Yes. Can he release it? Yes. However, there's fairly limited information in this document. It's 1 page. This is it. This is a sample of it. It tells you where is to be searched, Mar-a-Lago, what are they looking for? It'll say things like documents, papers, computers. It won't get into specificity usually. Who's the judge and when does the FBI have to conduct the search warrant by? However, sometimes there is an attachment to this, and that can tell you here are the crimes that prosecutors allege may have been committed. So Donald Trump does have that document, but it will not give chapter and verse. Another important document that Donald Trump has will answer the question of what did the FBI take from Mar-a-Lago? Now, this is called a return. It's basically an invoice. It's a receipt. The FBI will say, here's what we took out of your property. But again, there is a level of generality to that. They're not going to detail every piece of paper. It will more likely say something like 12 boxes, X number of laptops, that kind of thing. But Donald Trump has that. He can release that too.
Again, if it's innocuous, though, the warrant itself, why wouldn't he release it? Is it a possibility of an attachment that outlines the crimes?
That could well be. I think that would be the most important thing. If there is that attachment, and it fairly frequently does have an attachment to it, it would say, typically, we believe that here's the crimes we established probable cause. Trump may not want that out there.
And again, he could release that if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
So for all the calls from Merrick Garland to come out and say something right now, Trump could do that.
They both have information, but yes, Trump could release that.
All right, what other questions do you have out?
You're not seeing the big picture here? The man Trump appointed? Dude, I think it's not that fucking five head. I don't think it's that 5 head, dude. You're saying that Trump appointed judge approved the Trump appointed FBI's warrant in order to boost his election polling via a sham raid? Like, no. Like, that's stop thinking that Donald Trump has like 5D chess moves. Trump did change who can deal with records last minute. I used both consent and search warrants dozens of times over the course of my career to recover classified government info, but never a subpoena. Let's talk subpoenas and why they are not used to recover classified material from those not authorized to have it. I'm talking here about information produced by the USG containing national defense information appropriately classified in accordance with the EO 13526. Someone not authorized to possess it in this thread refers to the former President Trump. Presidents do not get security clearances. They gain access to classified info by virtue of their election and are the USG's ultimate classification and declassification authority. Look, here's the reality, okay? Here's the big whammy. The only way that this mishandled information, mishandling of classified information is actually a big fucking deal, okay? You clicked the wrong link? I just clicked the link, man. I can't. Oh, that person has blocked me. That's why I can't see it. Is it customary for a president to name 7 new custodians of records on his last day of office? Dumbass, like. Fucking Hillary Clinton fans. Look. Listen. The main problem here is that Donald Trump has had, on multiple occasions throughout his presidency, allowed access to Mar-a-Lago as he was conducting presidential business. And that is, in the way things go, a major security concern. When you're the president, you're not supposed to have like random foreign nationals that may or may not be, spies, or may not have an interest in like learning about details ahead of time for their own countries. Like, that's just how fucking, that's how the White House works. You're not supposed to just be around random people. Donald Trump did that time and time again inside of Mar-a-Lago. So the idea that like this is just evidence mishandling, well, it goes a little bit further than that. Okay? Classified information being inside of Mar-a-Lago, an area that is easy to penetrate because of so much fucking foot traffic, and a lack of control over like who goes in and who goes out overall, because it's a country club. Having classified information there is a national security concern, especially if you don't know what the fucking classified information is. It could be some serious classified information, because the president has access to all of it, that he just took and put in a fucking safe there to, I don't know, show random fucking foreign nationals if he wants to. Spies if he wants to. Sell if he wants to. Not saying that he did this. Not trying to get all Jason Bourne with it, right? But that is the main concern as far as like from an archival perspective. It's not just a bunch of fucking librarian nerds who are going, oh my God, I can't believe this information is out there. Like, no, there's a reason as to why this is not allowed. Now, it can be something as fucking innocuous as menus or notes written on a cocktail napkin, because technically a lot of that stuff is already classified as well. Or it can be some serious classified information that is a matter of national security. Okay? The FBI also got a copy of Mar-a-Lago surveillance tapes, so with the knowledge that Trump had this classified info, they might have seen something in those tapes that spurred the warrant. Like, National Archivist isn't a random librarian. I know, but I'm exaggerating it because, like, because a lot of the Republicans are saying that, like, the National Archives are like a librarian on steroids, to belittle the most damaging aspects of this investigation. And yes, you are right, Petronats. Certain classified materials designated for review only in a SCIF, a secured facility. Now, the other side of it is that Mar-a-Lago, at least while Trump was president, could have had that. Except once he was no longer president, that government property, because the secured facilities like that would be technically government property, that would no longer be government property. So therefore, storing classified information in a room like that, even while you're president, might be legal, but would be totally illegal when you're no longer president, because you're a private citizen. Doesn't matter if you're interested in running for president again. Doesn't matter what you fucking do. He's losing what is called need to know. Okay? That goes away the moment his successor is sworn in. By tradition, incumbent presidents extend access to classified info as needed to their successors. Notably, Biden did not, citing Trump's erratic behavior. At least 3 reasons make a subpoena inappropriate to recover classified docs. First, classified docs are the property of the USG. In the hands of an unauthorized person, they are contraband. Imagine using a subpoena to demand the return of $10,000 stolen by a bank robber. In the words of Asharangappa, a subpoena implies the recipient is the lawful custodian or bailer of the property. Yeah, you subpoena someone or something when you know they're going to, or they're technically supposed to collaborate. There's a likelihood that they're going to collaborate. If the law has already been broken and the investigation itself revolves around the law being broken, in violation of the law, then they're not going to fucking subpoena that. They're going to go out and get it, because why the fuck would you give them that? That's why the government has a clear hurdle and provide a reason to get it. If you're an unauthorized possessor, you are simply a thief of holding stolen property. So all of this hinges on what the classified documents detail and how that plays into a potential subsequent investigation into Donald Trump's involvement in January 6th. Because if the information that they have recovered is nothing, okay, and it's just like napkins and shit, then the FBI grossly overstepped and did something that is unprecedented, raid the home of a former president. At first you were saying there was more than just archival documents, but now you're trying to defend that it might just be documents. No, I said from the jump that this would be a gigantic fucking misstep. What I'm just saying right now, what you're hearing from me, the words that are coming out of my mouth, as much as I celebrate, Donald Trump being fucking upset and conservatives losing their minds, I said on day one that if this is a nothing burger, which it can be, this would be a gross misstep for the FBI. Okay? That's part of the reason why I believe that there is more to it than just, bullshit archives. That the classified information that is being retrieved is important. You get it? He's being prosecuted today for something they could legally do yesterday. Big deal. I don't know why you're getting all excited about the security state's property all of a sudden. Wait, what? No, I don't give a fuck. I'm excited at the prospect of Donald Trump getting annoyed. I'm excited at the prospect of conservatives losing their fucking minds over it, that they're foaming out of their mouths. Also, shut the fuck up being like, this is security state apparatus bullshit. Like, what do you mean, dog? What the fuck? How many times have I talked about the security state overreaching? How we live in a fucking surveillance state. How the FBI and the CIA have historically done whatever the fuck they want to marginalize people. The moment that turns on a fucking person with power, a person with privilege, what you said at first was you hoped, as we all did, that it was more than archives. Yeah. That is what I said. Anyway, security state all of a sudden because Daddy Trump got arrested. Yeah, if you're like a fucking anarchist in this community that has been around for like 5 to 6 months, then shut the fuck up. Shut up. Like, oh man, I'm morally consistent. I'm so morally consistent, I'm not going to fucking sit here and act like it's a good thing that Donald Trump's getting his wee-wees hurt. His fifis hurt. Don't worry, they didn't murder him, unfortunately. Why are people getting so worked up about the tone of what you said, like it's not that deep? Because as we have talked about time and time again, people are not really interested in analysis or news or commentary. They're more interested in Streamer Man, what he said, what I misunderstood about what he said, and whether or not what he said came to be real or not. Okay? It's more so about like Streamer Man and maybe like what other Streamer Man that I like more feels about Streamer Man. It's always just like more gotcha, which is ironic because I account for that in my commentary. So it's probably your personal misunderstanding. Anyway. Hasan personally caused the Ukraine war, so of course people take a good look at every sentence of his. Yeah, exactly. It's because I caused the Ukrainian war to happen. Anyway. After calling for Hillary Clinton to be jailed in 2018, Trump signed a law that stiffened the penalty for unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents from 1 year to 5 years, turning it into a felony offense. That's so funny. So even if it's a fucking nothing burger, it's Trump's very own FBI director and Trump's very own actions. This is like that Oklahoma guy who got caught trying to do sex, who got caught trying to fuck like a 17-year-old male prostitute, but he was 500 miles within a church, or no, what is it, 500, was it 500 feet around a church or a school, which was his own fucking, which was like his own law that he had signed that added additional punitive damages. It was a school, right? Yeah. Yeah, with crack as well, of course, always. Huh. Your take on the outrage Steven Crowder was spewing yesterday was on point. Loved it. Yeah, it was awesome. And it still is awesome. And I want to see more of it, to be honest. Yeah, or Eric Greitens with revenge porn. That was fun, too. Yeah, the guy I'm talking about is Ralph Shorty. The Oklahoma State legislator that got arrested for sex trafficking a minor. Was Ralph Shorty. Yeah, his last name is Shorty. Anyway, let's continue.
Outstanding.
So what documents exactly were still at Mar-a-Lago at the moment the search warrant was executed? Now, we know that earlier this year, there were 15 boxes of documents delivered from Mar-a-Lago to the National Archives. DOJ then obtained those same 15 boxes from the National Archives. Now, DOJ, as our new reporting has shown, started to grow suspicious and learned there were other documents there and started to grow distrustful of the way they were being handled. They went in, did the search warrant, and our reporting now is that DOJ has grabbed about 12 more boxes from Mar-a-Lago. What's in there? We will find out. And then there's a question of why did DOJ exactly use a search warrant instead of less intrusive means? And there's a really interesting history here. Back in June, there was these meetings that Caitlin Collins and others have reported for us, where investigators went and met with Trump's team at Mar-a-Lago, saw that there were shown that there were other boxes of documents in the basement. Then the investigators came back and say, hey, throw a padlock on that, save them for us. So why were investigators okay with that? Why were they okay with those documents staying at Mar-a-Lago for months and months until August 8th, until 2 days ago, when they executed the search warrant? That's an intrusive means.
Bro, when they bust out the fucking smart board with the touchpad, you know shit's popping, okay? This is like Super Bowl coverage. They only bring this out during election season. You know these motherfuckers are horned up. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with. I'm horned up too, okay? I'm so fucking horned up, I almost forgot the top of the hour ad break. Which, of course, I did not forget. That was a debate. Here it is, the top of the hour. The top of the hour ad break is upon us. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5, or you can do for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully, your favorite broadcaster is me. Okay, or you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Where's the guy with the khaki? Steve Kornacki? The khaki? Steve Kornacki?
And I think ultimately DOJ is going to have to justify it.
Again, and that's one of the unanswered questions here. The answer to that, if it exists, might explain something.
Yeah.
One of the things being thrown out there by Trump allies is, oh, well, this information was all declassified anyway.
Yeah, so Pam Brown has new reporting that may well be one of the defenses. One of the potential crimes here is mishandling of classified documents, and we may see.
He does have very tiny hands. I did notice that. You are correct about that.
A defense that, well, Trump actually did declassify it. Now, look, you have to do it while you're president. You can't do it now, many months later. The question is, did he actually declassify? There's no specific form you have to fill out to declassify. The president has broad authority over that. The question is, what does the evidence show? Is there actually proof that he declassified? But watch for that. That could be a battle coming up.
You know, everyone calling for Merrick Garland to come forward with information.
Yeah.
Will DOJ do so?
So he can. He's allowed to. I would love to hear him call a press conference for today and tell us what's going on. But I do not believe he will, given his history and given a really important prosecutorial principle. You do not talk about pending investigations. Part of that is strategic. Bill Belichick doesn't walk his playbook across to the other sideline and say, here's what we're doing.
No,
right?
he tapes practices.
Well, that's true. Actually,
Allegedly.
Not the best example,
Yeah.
right. But you want to maintain the secrecy of your investigation. You don't want to tell the other team what you're doing. But part of that is also an important principle to protect the rights, the reputation of whoever may be under investigation. Generally speaking, a person who's being investigated doesn't want the attorney general coming out and saying, hey, we believe this person may have committed a crime.
Just last thing,
Yeah.
the proximity of the midterms here. Are they playing into this?
Yeah, so midterms are now exactly 90 days away, and that matters because there's a longstanding DOJ policy. You don't take an over-investigative step like a search warrant that may be politically sensitive within 90 days of the midterm, so they
Dog, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, it is, first of all, the FBI is famous for doing this shit. Remember Jim Comey, the second investigation into Hillary Clinton? That was unironically a bigger reason why Hillary Clinton lost than like Russia was, okay? So no, the idea that fucking, the FBI doesn't do this shit is completely false. They certainly do that. And they certainly have done it, and they certainly will probably continue to do it. Are you fucking kidding me? That was like a day before the election. Jim Comey was like, actually, crooked Hillary might be crooked. Here it is. Like, that's wild. Secondly, 90 days out of an election? Bitch, there's elections every fucking 2 years. What do you mean? It's like saying, it's kind of like, oh, dude, how dare you post something funny this close to a mass shooting? Well, I'm sorry. I live in America. There's a mass shooting every fucking day. I didn't realize there were rules like this. Oh, well, 90 days outside of an election. It's like, okay, well, that's like all the time. There's elections all the fucking time. But acid washing emails is different, bro. Also, I don't care. Throw Hillary Clinton under the jail, you dumb bitch. I'm mad at Donald Trump because he didn't do it. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Do something about it. I hate that. I hate that people are like, oh, well, Hillary Clinton. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Lock her up. Lock her up. Except, Trump fucking failed to do that. So maybe you should stop being such a fucking cuck about your big, gigantic, sweaty fucking baby and all of his goddamn failures. Why are you coming in here repeating the L's of Donald Trump's presidency? He ran on locking her up, and he fucking did not. Huh.
did that search 92 days before. Maybe coincidence, maybe because they were trying to stay out of that 90-day
Does it matter
window.
that Donald Trump's not running in the midterms?
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's a way to technically construe that memo. Oh, who cares? But who looms larger over these midterms than Donald Trump? You have to be realistic if you're DOJ and construing it.
Ellie Honig, very helpful as always.
Thanks,
Thank
Sean.
you.
One senator who is speaking out
Yeah, here it is. More L's from fucking conservatives, by the way.
against all of this, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, you actually said about this, I found it interesting, that Joe Biden, the administration, the DOJ, the FBI are playing with fire.
Look, I'm here in a very unique position in South Florida, surrounded by people that come from countries where this is familiar to them. This is shocking to Americans, but in Latin America and many of these, countries around the world, here's what happens. A group takes power. One of the first things that group does is they begin to persecute and go after their political opponents. And then when the supporters of their political opponents begin to complain about it, they begin to target them and they criminalize opposition. And that's what's happening here now. They took power. They are demanding, and you see it on Twitter, you see their public statements, they are demanding, they want Donald Trump arrested, they want him charged right now. They wanted him charged months ago, years ago. They wanted him charged. And I'm telling you the next thing you're going to see here, Sean, because it's the playbook. And that is, they are now going to begin to say, oh, these Trump supporters, these Republicans, they're very upset. They're saying very angry things. We think they might be a threat. We think they're radical extremists. Let's start arresting them. The next step in this process is going to be that people who...
Wait, I thought they did that already. I don't understand why they're not why they're saying like, oh, they might do that. I thought the government did that already by overreaching and arresting January 6 patriots. Once again, I am begging for all levels of government to behave the way that Republicans claim they behave. I'm begging. I'm not asking. I'm begging. Can you imagine a world in which like the Democratic Party is as vicious and as militant and as pro fucking labor as the Republican Party claims the Democrats are? Can you fucking imagine? A Democratic Party with teeth. A Democratic Party that weaponizes the IRS against like Republican small business owners. A Democratic Party that weaponizes the FBI against reactionary prior leaders. Oh, yeah, this was an IRS job posting. Oh, my God, it got me horned up. Carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary. Be willing and able to participate in arrest, execution of search warrants, and other dangerous assignments. I am vying for a Democratic Party that fucking arms the IRS and steals the money of conservative business owners at gunpoint. I am vying for I want a Democratic Party to like actually fucking steal elections, and not so that they're like doing, you know, marginal change by offering the oil and gas industry acres of land at the cost of like a couple million or $1 billion in fucking subsidies and credits to the renewable energy industry. I'm talking like they fucking steal elections. It's basically like a one-party government, and they're just instituting communism. That's what I want. Okay? But we can't have that. Because that's not real.
Who are supporters of Donald Trump or just conservatives complaining about this are going to begin to get harassed are going to begin to get labeled as potential insurrectionists and are going to begin to get harassed by law enforcement. That's the next step in this playbook, sadly.
You know, we went through 3 years, Senator, 3 long years where we now know that FISA warrants were obtained using an unverifiable dirty Russian dossier that was bought and paid for by Donald Trump's opponent in 2016, Hillary Clinton. And all of that information was false. And even Andrew McCabe, the deputy director of the FBI, said without that dirty dossier, there wouldn't be any FISA warrants. But yet they used it 4 times. Even when the subsource for Christopher Steele acknowledged none of it was true. There were no hookers in the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow urinating on
IRS job listings aren't loading right now. What did we fucking DDoS the IRS job listing site? What the fuck? Porsche beats Tesla's Nürburgring EV record with Taycan Turbo S. I don't have a Taycan Turbo S, but let's fucking go. Someone send this to fucking Austin, dude.
Donald Trump's bed, which was part of this crap. This went on for 3 long years. I believe the FBI and I believe the Department of Justice.
I have the one model below that. I have the Taycan 4S.
Have squandered any goodwill or any deserved trust of the American people, especially when it comes to Donald Trump. What could they possibly be looking for here?
Well, I actually don't think they went in looking for documents. I think that was probably their excuse that they found some Obama donor judge to write him a ruse. Yeah, they found some Obama donor judge to write, not even a judge, a magistrate to write and give them the search warrant. I think they went in there looking to see whatever they could find. Their argument is, all right, we were here looking for documents. We didn't.
The Obama donor judge. It's like, bro, half the time these guys are still Federalist Society guys, right? I don't even know about this particular judge, but it's so funny that they're like, oh, he's an Obama donor. Like the one fucking judge that that isn't like a vulturous parasite, who probably is still a fucking vulturous parasite, by the way. But like, they found the one guy who wasn't directly like in the let's murder brown people society, okay? And now they're just like, wow, look at that. This guy donated to Obama, clearly an activist judge. It's like, bro, you will never stop until the entire judicial system is exclusively filled with Federalist Society freaks. Meanwhile, I didn't even know that, but wait. This judge was also appointed by fucking Trump? Stop. Yo, you know who else donated to the Democrats, by the way? Donald Trump. Remember that tweet from like 2 days ago? Epstein associate, FBI targeted raid on Epstein associate, Clinton donor. That's Donald Trump.
Didn't find those, but look what we did find. Or who knows what happened while they were in there, because the lawyers weren't allowed to see.
Also, another incredible fucking moment here is that they constantly talk about, like, speaking of Epstein, the judge used to be Epstein's lawyer. Hey, you know what else? You know who else was Epstein's lawyer? Fox News' #1 commentator, Alan fucking Dershowitz. And by the way, they went fucking balls to the wall. They doxed him. The far-right extremists are violently threatening the Trump search warrant judge. They're also, I think they have doxed and are threatening Christopher Wray. I was reading earlier today that they are, like, far-right extremists they're going after anyone that has wronged Donald Trump, which is so unhinged and so funny. Please go to jail. Please send them to fucking jail, dude. Can you imagine? It's the funniest thing you can do. You're like so mad about an FBI investigation that you try to like fucking threaten the life of the director of the FBI. Obama took millions of pages of documents with him. Well, guess what, dude? Donald Trump allowed that confidential information to transfer over to Obama, whereas apparently Joe Brandon didn't. That's right. Dark Brandon rises. I said it. Dark Brandon, rise up. Who the fuck would want to text Jesse? Is he trying to... I was going to say, is he trying to get underage girls to text them, but also at the same time, you know, the youngest person, the youngest Fox News watcher is like 78 years old, so that joke doesn't really land when you think about all the circumstances. It's for boomers without Twitter. Is Jesse Waters not gay? I always thought he was. I, for a little bit, thought Jesse Waters was gay too, but no, he's too fucking bro-y. I don't think he's gay. Jesse Waters is a bit queer-coded, though. For sure.
See it. These people are obsessed. The far left, they will stop at nothing. People don't understand this is the playbook from all over the world. The far left believes that their cause is so worthy that anyone who is against it must be evil, must be a criminal, and must be punished and put away. Look, this is one of the reasons. I know people hear this all the time. This is why elections really matter. We've got to take back the majority in the House and Senate so we can subpoena the records behind this and these other efforts, so we could bring in the director of the FBI, the Attorney General, and force people to testify under oath about who told you what, who told you to do this, what was the justification behind this. This stuff needs to happen. And I hope we have to have the guts to do that.
But they're doing this under a pretext. Senator, I have in front of me the National Archives Record Administration note that, in fact, Donald Trump and the people in Mar-a-Lago were cooperating with them. This is from February. So I don't know what...
It is a pretext.
It was a pretext.
They
for
can't
what?
say they're doing it because of January
expedition?
6th. Yeah, no doubt. Look, they can't say, oh, this is because of January 6th. They can't. So they thought this was a cute way to get around it. And they could say, oh, no, this has nothing to do with the Capitol stuff and the January 6th committee. This is because of the documents that he retained that he still has. And that's why we went in there. But we didn't find that. But we found all this other things that we think are incriminating. They don't know what they were going to find. That's the point. But I mean, look, you know.
I don't understand why Marco Rubio's over here talking shit. Like, if he wanted more detail, he could have just fucking put his ear to the ground and he would have fucking heard everything that was going on. He's in Florida. He could probably hear them directly from Vermont. Okay? He could hear them from Connecticut if he wanted to. But, you know, all he had to do was just do this, and then boom. He can hear everything happening inside of Mar-a-Lago all the way up to fucking New York City. When Marco Rubio gets into a convertible vehicle, the vehicle cannot go above 35 miles an hour. His ears are like parachutes. You can fucking crank it. You can literally try to rip it all the way down, okay? Meanwhile, you know, the car is just not going. It's like having 2 sets of parachutes stuck behind it.
This, and I think a lot of people that watch this program know this, but a lot of Americans are busy with their everyday lives and don't miss it. Every single day.
That's fucked up, Hasanabi. He can hear you talking shit right now. Yeah, nobody ever fucking says, oh, Marco Rubio won't hear your fucking words, but someone with Dumbo-ass ears will. No, motherfucker, Marco Rubio does hear my words. He can hear me from all around the country, dog. Trust me.
Prominent members of the left, prominent Democrats in Congress are demanding that Merrick Garland, that he indict Donald Trump right now. Forget about the evidence. They want him indicted. They want him put away in jail. They've been demanding that for months and months and months, as have, you know, many of these idiots who are commentators in these other networks that are giddy about it. Yeah. Some of these people are supposedly legal experts, and they say
Marco Rubio literally has 300 channels plus HBO Max directly beaming into him through a satellite, okay? Marco Rubio is responsible for internet access in third world countries. And you're out here making fun of him. That's fucked up.
Stupid and ridiculous things about how the law applies and how it doesn't apply.
Marco Rubio's a test case for Elon Musk's satellite internet service.
But I'll tell you where the danger is and the fire is here. Okay, what comes around goes around. And here's what's going to happen now. Now, one day they won't be in power. And whoever is in power, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to do it back to the other side. And now we do become a banana republic. Now we become like those countries that people come to America to get away from, where there is no rule of law and where everything is politicized and where opposition to those in power is criminalized.
That's a frightening thing to say, and it's sad to say that we don't have equal justice or application of our laws. Senator Rubio, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click
again,
here.
Dude. Banana Republic, dude.